Welcome to VERGE Accelerate. I am Sara Golden. I'm a senior energy analyst at GreenBiz, and I am delighted to be presenting VERGE Accelerate for energy. VERGE Accelerate has been one of the cornerstone programs since the inception of VERGE. It's one of the primary ways in which we spotlight these promising early stage entrepreneurs with solutions across the clean economy, which is so central to finding the breakthroughs that we need to truly decarbonize. As mentioned, today's pitches will all be focusing on innovations within energy. One of the unique things that we do at Verge is bring together these innovative startups with potential partners. And because we are all remote now, I encourage you to find these entrepreneurs in the People's tab on the right side of your screen. So if you hear a pitch that you like, if you're wanting to continue these conversations, go over and find those people in the People's tab. So, in just a moment, I will be introducing our two esteemed industry experts, and we'll get to hear their perspective after each pitch. We will have five pitches today. Each one of them are 2.5 minutes. And then immediately after this session, there will be a round table discussion where you are invited to ask questions to these founders. And you'll also have a chance to join them on screen and get deeper into these technologies. After the pitches are over, you will be invited to cast your vote to determine who the winner will be, and that winner will then advance to a final stage on the final stage of the competition on the main stage this Friday. And so, join us then to be able to see who the winner of all of these pitches will ultimately be. I am excited to have our industry experts joining today. I'll let them introduce themselves very briefly, starting with my favorite silver-tongued Aussie, Danny Kennedy.
Thank you, Sarah. Thanks for having us. So my name is Danny Kennedy. I'm the CEO of New Energy Nexus. Really excited to be here to see these amazing startups pitch. New Energy Nexus, for those of you that don't know us, grew out of the California Clean Energy Fund. We run the world's largest ecosystem of support for startups, have teams in 10 countries running accelerators and programs like this, funds in 5. We look at thousands of startups every year, support hundreds, and would love to be involved, but just want to get at this and hear from these great entrepreneurs.
Next up, we have Sara Chamberlain.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having us. I'm Sara Chamberlain. I'm a managing director with Energy Foundry. I don't have as fun of an accent. I'm from the Midwest, so you might hear a twinge. Energy Foundry is a seed and Series A stage venture fund focused on energy and clean tech. We focus on power and electrification. Our two partners are the Illinois Electric Utilities. We've been investing for about the last 8 years, and our fund is structured as an evergreen fund. So that allows us to be a little more patient in terms of the kinds of investments that we'll back, which includes advanced materials, hardware, as well as software. So I'm really excited to hear about all the companies today, and we'll pass it back to you to get to it.
Thank you, Sara and Danny. Without further ado, let's get to our first pitch. Please welcome Jonathan Knight, co-founder and CEO of Uprise Energy.
Uprise Energy has done something that has never been done before. We leveraged a background that started in boat building, including this all carbon fiber stealth vessel for the US Navy. And we expanded into wind energy, where we service wind farms all around the world. And we developed the very best performing turbine blade ever. And we use this experience to create the world's largest portable renewable energy system that provides reliable power where you need it cost effectively. In fact, when you use one of our turbines instead of a diesel generator, you're going to save $50,000 per year on fuel alone. And you're going to eliminate 100,000 pounds of CO2 emissions per year. To punctuate this, there are over 1 billion diesel generators running around the world right now. The mobile power station is designed so it fits in a standard shipping container, and my video is not playing. And when it arrives at the site, it only takes one person 1 hour to set the entire turbine up. And while the portability of the system is novel, it's the performance where we've really innovated. In our case, we optimize for the average wind speed around the world. which is considerably slower than the incumbent technology. And we do this with a very efficient turbine blade made of carbon fiber that's controlled with the coolest feature of this whole project. We've developed our own regenerative braking system, just like what you find in electric vehicles, except our computer is designed so that it feathers the brake, making so the turbine makes as much energy as possible, taking advantage of the exponential power in wind gusts. This is a feature that we call dancing with the wind, and it dramatically increases our power output, meaning that one of our wind turbines can power 15 of the homes that I live in San Diego. So what happens if the wind stops blowing? Well, we have enough batteries on board to keep my house going for an entire month. Now, we all live in a connected world, and our turbine is no different. We provide worldwide communications, remote control, and the system is smart enough that it will protect itself in the event of a storm by autonomously parking and laying the mast down, leaving no doubt that the Uprise Energy mobile power station is the distributed energy product for the future.
Thank you, Jonathan. That was wonderful. Danny, Sara, what stood out for you? Do either one of you have any questions?
Plenty. I guess to start, congratulations, great business. I can see where you want to go, project development and so on, but just in the midterm, where's the business in terms of fundraising? And are you selling some of the IP or leasing it or doing non-recourse engineering with dancing with the wind algorithm or the carbon fiber blades, just to stretch your runway and make sure you can get to market?
Yeah, well, we do have a fully issued patent on the entirety of the technology. And in the future, we do have ideas around licensing some of that technology. But we've been focused on just developing the very best small wind turbine that we possibly can. We have raised a reasonable amount of money to get to the point where we're at now, where we've built 3 prototypes, and our current unit is the pre-production unit that we are commercializing, and we are taking orders as we speak.
Sara, anything that stands out for you?
Yeah, can you maybe talk some about the specific pain point, like, wind and the evolution of the wind industry has allowed for a lot of these sort of offshoot and more niche applications. Can you talk some about the specific pain point that you're solving with your product?
Sure. Well, traditional wind energy requires much higher wind speeds than what are commonly found. And the conventional model is to go find a really windy spot and build a wind farm in that windy spot and then distribute the energy. Well, we saw a real need for edge of grid electrification, power beyond the grid's edge that can provide power reliably. So this was really a solution-minded system to come up with something that would not be tethered by a grid or relying on a fossil fuel, but most importantly, it would need to make good power in those lower wind speeds. And that's exactly what we've done. So we actually entered this project by identifying 40 notable constraints that traditional wind deals with that we would have to overcome in order to provide a good solution to the customer base that we were going after in this distributed generation market.
Well, thank you, Jonathan. Next up, we have Janice Tran, CEO of Kanin Energy.
Great. Hey, everyone. So my name is Janice Tran. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Kanin Energy. The next slide here. So did you know that over 58% of energy is currently wasted at industrial facilities? That is a problem that we hope to solve at Kanin Energy. So what we do is we're a clean energy company that focuses on transforming industrial waste heat into emission-free baseload power at no cost to facilities. We also pay them for it. So this is how it works. We're looking for industrial facilities. We're looking for industrial facilities that have waste heat. And in the status quo model, let's take, for example, a cement plant that's currently venting the waste heat into the atmosphere. So what we do instead is we take that waste heat, we run it through an organic Rankine cycle turbine. And our business model innovation is that we do end-to-end development, design, construction, operations, and we provide the capital for it. The energy revenue that's created, we share some of that back into the industrial facility. And the electricity that's created, we sell back to the host at a discounted price. So for the facility, for example, it's a win-win situation. They get a great ESG product. They also get discounted electricity, and they get paid for waste heat that wasn't already monetized. So we think that this is over a 9.6 gigawatt opportunity in North America alone, and over a $24 billion market. There's many addressable markets that we're targeting. That includes natural gas compressor stations, cement plants, iron and steel, glass, and many others. We're also getting quite a bit of traction. We have over $875 million worth of projects in our pipeline, with over 120 million in kind of final stages of negotiations. And this is diversified across many of the industries that we talked about. We also have a team that's well diversified and doesn't have overlapping skill sets, so it's very lean. Myself, I have a project finance background, spent the last last 4 years at Gentry Capital. Our CTO has spent many years in the EPC engineering design space working on energy projects. Our president has extensive project management experience, and our managing director has lots of experience in energy markets. So what we're looking for today are corporate partners that are looking for industrial waste heat and looking to monetize that. That's it, thank you.
Janice, thank you so much. Danny, Sara, what comes up for you?
So the question that comes up for me, and you alluded to having a business model innovation versus a technology innovation. If I heard that wrong, correct me. But what prevents others from implementing a similar model? What's your barrier to entry here?
Yeah, so it is a business model innovation. I think the biggest competitive moat that we have is a first mover advantage, and also that it's difficult to gain the trust of these heavy industrials if you don't already have the traction. So the beginning, it's going to be a slog to get into these industrial sites, but after we even have one under our belt, we'll have more credibility than any others. And so the way that these industrial sites typically they'll look at people that have experience, and we'll just have that wealth of experience that we think will slow down any competition.
Great answer and great job, Janice, and lovely to see a sort of Generate alum going out and doing more resource efficiency work. Question is, you mentioned you already have a finance. What's the average ticket size for one of these units when you put them into one of these waste heat opportunities, and where's the money coming from for your business?
Yep, so the project itself can range anywhere from $20 million to $100 million of deployment per project. That's from 5 megawatts to 50 megawatt plants. And so the main concept here is it's project finance. So we have project capital providers in our network that provide that capital. And for the corporate, we actually just opened our seed round last Monday. So we don't have any corporate investors yet. We're looking for it.
Janice, thank you so much for that pitch. Up next, we have Ryan McIntosh, who's founder and CEO at RoadPower. Ryan.
Hi. So annually, the ground transportation sector is responsible for 28 trillion kilowatt hours energy usage and 19 billion tons of greenhouse gas emissions. In fact, transportation is the largest contributor of greenhouse gases globally. Most vehicles on the road today aren't very efficient, so majority of this energy unfortunately goes to waste. Almost 3 trillion of these kilowatt hours are completely lost to braking and deceleration. That's enough waste to meet the energy needs of 120 million average homes every year. But what if we could recover some of this energy? Could we put it back to work in the form of sustainable power? These questions and the ideas that followed sent us on a mission to try and solve this gigantic problem. Our road-mounted systems recover this otherwise wasted energy from decelerating vehicles, and they produce sustainable electricity with it. Think of them as smart, regenerative speed breakers that produce sustainable power as vehicles drive over them. So how does it all work? First, as vehicles drive over our regeneramps, kinetic energy is recovered. Next, the system regenerates electricity and stores it. We then supply that power locally as a service. We're considering several customers and end users, but initially planning to focus on the electric vehicle charging market. And here's why. First, there's a significant lack of EV charging infrastructure. On top of that, most charging comes from the grid, which is mostly unsustainably powered. In addition, grid-tied EV charging projects are notoriously difficult to develop. Our easy to deploy off-grid and sustainable EV charging platforms address these problems directly. We're initially targeting sustainably focused commercial facilities that have significant levels of on-site vehicle traffic. These are customers that are interested in providing sustainable EV charging to their own customers. This market is projected to reach 148 billion globally by 2027. Follow-on target markets include facility power purchase agreements, public roadway deployments, and eventually grid services. So we've made significant progress to date, including closing our pre-seed round last winter and signing up our first 2 customer pilots, the first of which is on track to go live by the end of the year. We're planning to raise again in January and hope to partner with sustainably focused corporates as we move out of the lab and into early stage deployments. Please reach out to us to learn more. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ryan. Danny, what comes up for you from this pitch?
It's a really fun one, and congratulations on getting it so far. Question for me is, where is the storage in the system in your industrial design?
Yeah, so we'll store it in a battery on site.
I get that, but
so
where is it relative to your speed bump or ramp or whatever you call it? Is it underneath that? Is it a separate unit?
Sure. So the ramps will be deployed on the roadways, right? And then we'll have a central powertrain on site, which includes the generator, supercapacitors, battery banks, and the energy from the ramps will get sent over to that central unit on site, and then from there into the EV charging stations.
And what capacity would that storage have?
It really would depend on the site. We're looking at 2 different kind of options where we size the battery banks only for the EV charging station. The other model that we're looking at is to kind of oversize the battery bank so that the building itself, the local facility, can also tap into that storage bank. So we're weighing a few different options, but as far as the size of the battery bank for just the EV charging unit, somewhere in the 1 to 200 kilowatt hours. So a number of vehicle charges per day to be able to provide.
Sara, any quick questions for Ryan?
Yeah, I guess, could you talk some about unit economics? So, total cost to install a system at a typical customer site, and cost to the customer, I get, and then how do they recoup the value of their investment? Are they providing additional charging services to their end users of that battery EV charging?
Yeah, so great question. So we're targeting $50,000 installed for the unit, right? So the facilities we're going after are customers at like big box stores, large facilities, so they won't pay a dime for the installation. We'll do the installation. We would then be the beneficiaries of the revenue for the EV charging, and we want to project finance those deployments. So in the project financing model, we will finance projects over a 10 to 15 year period. In a model where the facility wanted to simply just purchase the system outright, you're looking at somewhere in the 4 to 5 year range on payback from revenue from charging.
Thank you, Ryan. We are going to need to move on. The next pitch we have is from Tanya Barham, who is the founder and CEO of Community Energy Lab.
Hi, at Community Energy Labs, we are bringing to market the first truly scalable AI-powered clean building control system. I'm Tanya Barham. Communities worldwide are pushing buildings to convert to electric, operate efficiently, and consume power when renewables are making it. Our purpose is to enable this change. So why is right now the right time for the middle market? Everybody and their brothers helping wealthy businesses like Google deploy millions for energy upgrades. But cash-strapped institutions are bound by regulations, such as California's plan to decarbonize half of its municipal buildings by 2025. Our extensive work with and sympathy for this segment's struggle to affordably decarbonize sets our team apart in mid-sized markets with aggressive building codes. Nearly 100 customer interviews revealed that even with more than half of the commercial floor space in the US, this middle market is still wrestling spreadsheets and fiddling with thermostats. If you're a California school superintendent, you might be spending $3 million per year per school on energy, but upgrades needed to save money could cost $3 million up front, require extensive install, and take years to pay back. CEL is an IoT and software as a service control platform that offers quicker energy savings with lower upfront cost. A school spending $3 million on energy would pay $6,000 for a one-time, one-day install to retrofit existing equipment with sensors and controllers. Once installed, CEL charges a fee to monitor, predict, and control energy using machine learning. With an average savings of 25%, your local school would pay back its investment in under 2 months. Our algorithm orchestrates equipment in real time based on a building owner's preferences and goals, like reducing greenhouse gas, and saving money. Our team has decades of experience scaling software, AI, and wireless systems for energy innovations in the middle market. We've commercialized a national solar schools program, HVAC optimization software, and microgrid controls from R&D to global scale for startups and companies as large as SoCal Edison. Our advisors represent a diverse set of industry leaders. If you're looking for tangible ways to solve climate change, we are looking for pilot partners, advisors, and catalytic capital to build our team, execute our first 700 contracts, and hire a sales lead to expand our market reach. Software and machine learning have revolutionized nearly every aspect of our lives. Join us in harnessing their power for good in the fight against climate change, and thank you for your vote.
Thank you so much. I'm going to turn it over to Sara first. What questions do you have?
So thanks, Tanya.
Hi, Sara.
Appreciate your pitch. And I have to say, you must have had a previous life as like a news anchor or something. Good presentation. I guess the question I would have is, and the thing that's always so hard about these energy efficiency types of plays is, how do you scale? You know, what allows you to scale faster than the many, many other competitors that exist in this space?
That's a fantastic question. Two things I think really set us apart. On the technology side, our beachhead market is the California schools market. We have a pilot in Santa Clara County with an energy provider to provide our service for 400 schools there, and an energy provider in Spokane, Washington to provide our service to 200 commercial customers. On the technical side, we're making sure that our algorithms are cheaper, more accurate, and can scale to a number of different building types in the middle market. The second is we have a history of executing in this middle market. We have the relationships, and a lot like Janice's presentation, we have the ability to get into tough to reach markets like the MUSH, Municipal University School Hospital market, faster than our competitors, and to really purpose fit our solution to that market.
Danny, any quick questions?
Just is the California legislation that passed recently, I can't remember the bill name or number, but schools program that the CEC got additional funding, is that amenable to your product? Can you
It
use
is.
that
Prop
funding?
39, yes, absolutely. As are the new Title 24 regulations in 2022 that will be asking residential schools and some commercial buildings to electrify.
Thank you so much, Tanya. Our last pitch is from Todd Gentry, who is founder and CEO of HyperBorean. Todd.
All right, well, thank you very much. Imagine, if you will, your air conditioner decides to quit working for you in the middle of the summer at the worst possible time, and you're faced with the unhappy prospect of replacing it. One of the first things you will do as you research is check the energy efficiency of the units that you're looking to replace it with. Energy efficiency in air conditioning is rated by the SEER range, and in today's world, that's about 13 to 21 for most of the air conditioning units that are available. So as you're researching, imagine what would go through your mind if you were to see a SEER range that's almost 10 times higher than the current best available technology. You'd want to know a little bit more about that, wouldn't you? My name is Todd Gentry, and I'm the CEO of HyperBorean. We have developed an air conditioning compressor that operates off of heat rather than electricity. This allows our customers to essentially cut the cord on air conditioning. The compressor is designed to either replace the electrically powered compressor in a unit such as this, or to sit beside the air conditioning electrically powered compressor in a unit such as this, providing free off-grid air conditioning anytime there's a source of heat available. So admittedly, our first version of this technology looks a bit like Frankenstein. We have made some significant enhancements instead in recent months, and we now have a unit which is powered by concentrated solar and provides free off-grid air conditioning anytime there's a source of heat. Now, the reason that energy efficiency in air conditioning is important is that it's a proxy for power consumption. And power consumption is critical because it's a very big deal in air conditioning. Currently, 10% of the world's power is consumed by air conditioning. Worse yet, there is a growing demand that appears to be almost unsustainable. And by the year 2100, it will be 33 times what it is today. Part of that demand is fueled by the advent of air conditioning that's going into the developing economies at a very high pace. And all of that in combination has created this as the top project of Project Drawdown in terms of refrigeration management and drawdown of carbon. So what we have that is a significant pain point beyond just the single air conditioning units are industries that have hundreds of thousands of air conditioners. And this image is an example of one such, which is in the mobile telecom industry. It has literally 4 air conditioning units on a single structure that sits below an antenna. Imagine the pain point of trying to monitor and keep all these things cool and paying the utility bill for that. What we can do for this industry is actually place our unit on the rooftops of these buildings and using concentrated solar provide cooling during the peak periods of the day. This gives us phenomenal numbers for the project.
Todd, thank you so much. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to cut you up. We are unfortunately at time. So Danny, quickly, any questions that you have for Todd?
What's the temperature range that this operates in? You know, particularly, does it work in the tropics, for example, where the air conditioning load is really growing?
It does. We need fairly intense sources of heat to operate the unit, and the temperature range is anywhere from 110 Fahrenheit to about 60.
Sara, any questions for Todd?
Yeah, and we can get into it as well in the roundtable, but is your innovation a component or a subcomponent that can be retrofit into existing AC units, or is it a standalone system that has to be integrated with, you started to mention concentrated solar?
The optimal process for this would be to license the technology out to existing players. Until licensing agreements are in place, we will actually be producing our own units with the component inside. Really, the proprietary component is our air conditioning compressor. Most everything else is standard vapor compression unit, vapor compression system components.
Well, Todd, thank you so much. And I'm really impressed with this giant screen that you're in front of. That's amazing. I want to thank all of the people that offered pitches so much. That was so much fun. I love that high energy aspect and the sort of Shark Tank feel of our 2 industry experts. And I feel like we could spend like another half hour talking about these companies, which is exactly what we're going to do. We are going to open up a roundtable discussion that will begin in a few minutes at 12:30. And I hope you're able to join us. Our industry experts will be there, as well as all of these founders. You will be able to find that by clicking within the Hopin platform, the sessions section. And then there will be a round table that is labeled VERGE Accelerate Energy Startups. So we'll continue the conversation there. You'll be able to get on screen, ask questions, and dive into more of the expertise from our industry experts. But first, you also have the opportunity to vote on one of these startups. So you can see over in the tab over there that there is a list of the different start pitches that you've heard today, and you're able to vote on who you would like to see to go to the final round this Friday on the main stage. Voting will be open for the next 30 minutes, and we will announce the winner of this session at the end of the round table. So I want to thank once again all of the startups for committing yourself to these incredible solutions and for joining us for this pitch. As a reminder, you can search for all of these founders in the People's tab, and a huge thank you to Danny and Sara, who will continue the conversation over in the round table. Thanks so much.